Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to start the fourth Dhamma discussion, and Sharanga is ready with the written reports and questions, so we will start the session with written reports.
Avasarai Bande, today is Friday, the 2nd of May 2025. This is the fourth question and answer session of meditation retreat conducted by Most Venerable Panadure Chandaratana Thero at Jhana Meditation Retreat Center, Serpentine, Western Australia. Today we have a total of 11 questions, 9 in English medium and 2 in Sinhala. Monday I will present all the questions written in English first. There are 6 questions related to the meditation practice and 3 questions on fundamentals.
Right.
Question 1. With much gratitude, dear Bande, thank you so very much for your guidance. I am so grateful. Just a report at my experience. Both days under your guided meditation, I felt slowly I lost all feelings of my physical body. It was frozen as if it didn't exist. My breath, I was automatically maybe going sadhu inhale, sadhu exhale. Most calming, beautiful feeling of gratitude towards Buddha Dhamma. Once in a way, very rarely, mind drifted to a thought but could quickly come back. Then felt a strange feeling of energy around me. Wondered if I had moved or lifted my hand on my lap. No movement, just an energy of some sort. Maybe you can explain. Bhante, I like to be private, so please don't ask me. Thero Saran. Sadhu sadhu. End of question.
Can you repeat the last 2 sentences?
Once in a way, very rarely, mind drifted to a thought, but could quickly come back.
Mm-hmm.
Then felt a strange feeling of energy around me. Wondered if I had moved or lifted my hand on my lap.
Mm-hmm.
No movement, just an energy of some sort. Maybe you can explain.
Mm-hmm. Right. Actually, these things are kind of different perceptions, because sometimes you feel that your head is like turned to the other side while meditating, but once you wake up, rather say open your eyes, you recognize, okay, it is not that kind of a drift. It is only the same way that the face or head is stationed. Or else sometimes you feel, okay, breathing is happening here. You have shifted to very far away place, and from while being there, you are very much like watching the breathing body. Sometimes you might feel, okay, the body has become very tiny and you have become kind of very far away looking at this tiny body. So likewise, different perceptions are possible. Anyway, all these things are changing, so nothing to worry. So maybe after a couple of days or even today, next sitting, you might not feel the same thing. So don't worry about these things. I mean, different perceptions can happen, but they are not stable. They are also changing. It's a matter of continuing the practice.
Second question. Bhante, this question has some numbering.
Mm-hmm.
First, I have been meditating for some time. Second, my meditation object is the in-breath and out-breath. I practice Vipassana meditation. Third, the meditation is very peaceful with Preeti and Sukha. Fourth, the mind is still and the hindrances are not present. The question, I have been at this stage for some time. I would like to know how one progresses from this level on the path. What should one have to do further? I read sutras, have Dhamma discussions with like-minded people, practice the Dhamma in daily life within bracket as much as possible. Please advise. Thank you.
Yeah, I think now as we already discussed, I mean, if we little summarize the progress of the Anapanasati, mindfulness on breathing. So one interesting sutta you can refer is the Anapanasati Sutta. So where Buddha explained 16 steps how the progress happens. Actually, first 4 comes under the Kayanupassana, next 4 under the Vedananupassana, next 4 under Chittanupassana, and the last 4 on Dhammanupassana. I think most of you are familiar with this. Now, the first 4. So, simply establishing mindfulness on the breathing. So, it's very simple way. Buddha starts with Sato Vasa Sati, Sato Passa Sati. So, nothing to worry too much. So, just be mindful how the breathing happens. And later, you are supposed to introduce a little bit of inquiring nature. Whether the current experience of in-breath is longer than the previous in-breath. Whether the current experience of out-breath, is it longer than the previous out-breath. So kind of a very subtle analysis, but keeping the mind quite silent. So that's the beauty. It is not that you are imagining, it is not that you are thinking. Rather, you are inquiring quietly. So this inquiring nature is now introduced to the mind, and mindful, certainly there is a certain amount of concentration, and now we are introducing this inquiring nature, or sampajanakari. And as a result of that, now you can recognize various facets of the breathing process, very subtle aspects, whether it's long, short, starting, middle, end, again beginning, middle, end. So all those little details now you are recognizing. Interesting thing is, as you are continuing, things start disappearing. So you can't recognize in breath, you can't recognize out breath. Things are settling, calming down. So we need to facilitate that process. So once you facilitate that, then almost like breath disappeared. You can't find out the place, you can't find out whether it is happening. You can't figure out whether it is in breath, out breath. Everything like disappeared. So you still have to maintain your attention at the nostril without almost like an object. But we can't say this is a kind of a huge achievement of Vipassana, but a certain achievement is there where you are able to fairly let go of the body. But once you arrive there, you need to stay there for a while without doing much, because the next stages are kind of naturally have to manifest. It is not that you are pushing or you are doing anything. Rather, naturally, the next stages have to evolve. So next stages could be more pleasant, more joyful, more blissful, like say goosebumps coming, and maybe electrics-like thing can happen, waves-like thing can happen. You might feel floating. So these are very much like the say states of happiness in a way, pleasurable feelings, but not came through the senses, rather coming through meditation. So we can simply say these are niramisa sukha. So kind of a unworldly kind of happiness. So that is where Buddha introduced Piti Patisangvedi, Sukha Patisangvedi, and then Chitta Sankhara Patisangvedi. That means when you are recognizing these things, now the problem is probably you start attaching to them and you want them. So these are the things that we need to careful. Now how to step out of that and looking at it. So piti is happening, rapture is happening, but it is not me, it is not mine. It is also coming and going. But you are consciously aware of what is happening. So you have this observing nature capacity. So certain piti is happening throughout the body, goosebumps happen, kind of a massaging kind of thing happen, but you are watching it, how it is happening, how it is changing, how it is disappearing. You are not expecting it, you don't want to hold it, and even if you want, it doesn't sort of behave the way you want. So you can understand certainly how these things are happening irrespective of your will in a way. So certainly you are understanding certain amount of impermanence and unself aspects. And when these gross kind of sensations disappear, there could be a possibility that you might get certain visualizations. Maybe as we discussed sometime back, like different images, different sounds also can happen. There also we have to be careful, so not to grasp them, not to give any, say, unnecessary interpretation, not to give any unnecessary emphasis, value. Rather, there are also feelings, there are also merely perceptions, there are also merely sanya. And if you look at it properly, then that will also start disappearing. That will also start to let go of. And then Passambayan Chitta Sankara happens. So that means all these different feelings, perceptions are also disappearing, calming down. And now the mind is fairly relaxed in a way. Now you are supposed to go to it may naturally go to the last stage, or rather third stage. That is where you are looking at the mind, Chitta Parisamvedi. Chitta Parisamvedi assesses Samvita Sikari. So look at your mind in a more relaxed manner, not in a kind of a strict or narrowed or restricted manner, but give some freedom to the mind. Allow it to think if it want, but you are like an outsider. You're simply watching. So you have this observing capacity now. You are not a beginner at this level. You're already equipped with certain amount of mindfulness. You are already equipped with certain amount of concentration, and you are also equipped with certain amount of wisdom. So therefore, nothing to worry when thoughts are happening. You might not get tangled with them. Instead, you are able to look at thoughts as merely thoughts. Allow them to come and allow them to be, allow them to go. You don't need to struggle. Only thing is you have enough wisdom, mindfulness to avoid any kind of temptation. Or rather, even temptation happen, you are not being tangled to them. You are not sucked into it. Rather, thoughts are happening and they are going. Another thought came, gone. It has gone. One came, another one gone. So likewise, so thoughts are coming and going, arising and passing away, arising and passing away, thoughts. So they also are developing certain amount of wisdom by seeing the mental side. So these thoughts are also not me. Thoughts are also not mine. They also have the nature to come and go. So as it happens, then your mind feel little kind of unburdened, relaxed, because there is no heaviness to the mind. You might naturally feel calm, relaxed. So not too much thinking, no obsessions. Mind is kind of moving towards a resting kind of thing. And then Samahitan Chittam, Vimochayan Chittam going to happen. So at the last stage, that's the Vimochayan Chittam. So now you are simply releasing the mind. So you are not keeping on in the body, you are not keeping in the Vedana, you are not trapped in any kind of a sensation, you are not trapped in any kind of perception. And now even there are no thoughts. So almost like all five aggregates are very much like let go of. So now you can free the mind in a way, Vimochayan Chitta. So this is very much the typical progress happen when we are going through proper Anapanasati. So in Anapanasati Sutta, Buddha mentioned, okay, there are many other ways of practicing Anapanasati, but this is what he recommends as kind of more beneficial, helping you to develop not only Samatha, even Vipassana. That means the concentration as well as mindfulness as well as wisdom is possible to develop as we are continuing like this. And when the mind is fairly open, relaxed, unestablished, free, now that result has to be further developed using Aniccanupassi, Viraganupassī, Nirodhanupassi, Patissaggānupassī. So that is what emphasized in the Dhammanupassana section. So I think this is enough as a kind of a summary how in Anapanasati we need to progress. Yeah, we can move forward.
Third question. Dear Bhante, this is my first meditation retreat and so far I am enjoying it a lot. Your advice has been very helpful for me and I am getting better at practicing and understanding meditation. During the morning sitting meditation, within brackets Thursday morning, I was able to go very deep and I experienced a nimitta for the first time. It was a green colored nimitta which lasted for a while and then slowly fading away as I surfaced from the deep meditation. The nimitta was accompanied with a very blissful feeling which lasted for a long time, even an hour after I finished the meditation. I had previously experienced difficulty reaching deeper states of meditation as I was quite restless and uncomfortable, resulting in difficulty focusing and being mindful. After adopting the Siddhasana sitting posture, I was able to remain seated and maintain focus. However, towards the end of the session, my legs became uncomfortable and numb. Would you have any relevant advice on sitting posture and what asana do you sit in? I greatly admire how you sit still for so long. Additionally, would you be able to advise me on the progression going from nimitta to experiencing the first jhana? Thank you so much. End of question.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment now, the sign, that what we call as a nimitta, the kind of concentration sign, haven't yet come to the kind of a maturity to attain the first jhana. So just therefore keep on paying attention to breathing, because typically the nimitta may become stable and typically it become more brighter and turns into more whiter kind of a nimitta which is more stable. But previous nimittas are more colorful. Different colors can happen, and that also may vary. Maybe tomorrow you might get another colored nimitta, or even today, next time it may start with one color, then another color. So likewise, these things are still changing. This is not the quite stable kind of a nimitta to attain jhana. Rather, still in the very initial stage. So therefore, just keep continuing with the anapanasati and then see what are the changes, evolutions happen with the nimitta. So slowly one may come and it will stay in a more softly, gentle way. It may stay. So that probably can be taken as a sign to get into absorption, get into the jhana. Now, assume that you get it and say when it happened and get it proper. Sometimes it may get properly aligned with the anapanasati. Now say for example your breathing happens in this line, in breath out breath, in breath out breath, and nimitta was like here, and now slowly nimitta also coming in line with the anapanasati. Now it's almost like you are breathing into nimitta and in breath coming from the nimitta, something like that. Things are very much like aligned. Everything has kind of merged like. Then you can slowly let go of breathing and simply look at the nimitta and look at it that also in a more pleasant, soft way, in a gentle way, in a balanced way. Then just continue like that. Without your effort, you may get absorbed to it. You may get immersed to it. Then it is a more natural kind of an attainment rather than you struggling to attain something. So you being a person struggling to attain first jhana, it's not the proper approach. Rather, you just continue the path, develop the necessary qualities, and in a nice way, pleasant way, just look at it, enjoy it, be with it, look at it, and once the necessary qualities are fulfilled, you are naturally will be immersed to it, sucked into it, something like that. And again, if it happens at first, don't try to measure whether what is there or it is first or second or which jhana. Don't do that. Just enjoy it, because you need to be familiarized with it. You need to enjoy it in a way. You need to familiarize with it. You need to be there for a certain amount of time. Then only you feel kind of a happiness or bliss while being there. So this is something that you can continue anyway. But from the vipassana point of view, anyway, you better introduce a little bit of inquiring nature as well, because your report indicates that certain amount of concentration now being developed. But if you introduce a little bit of inquiring nature to the picture, then rather than you limiting your experience only to the concentration, now you are paying a little bit of opening to the wisdom as well. As I discussed, say, how the in-breath happens, whether you are experiencing the beginning, the middle, the end, where is it touching? Is it just a single in-breath or is it a series of in-breaths? So likewise, you are doing a little bit of inquiring, and that may introduce a little bit of vipassana attributes as well, but maybe you can do it later. But anyway, one day you have to do it, because otherwise you are simply entirely being in the samatha side. But if you want to introduce more into the vipassana side, you have to introduce this inquiring nature, the investigative quality. And to sit longer, with time you will learn it. So don't, I mean, if for you, you have mentioned Siddhasana or something. So if it feel comfortable and if you can continue for half an hour or something, just that may be the good asana for you. With time, you may be able to slowly extend that. So don't immediately try to sit for long periods, because still the body is not seasoned. But with time, your body will properly adapt to it.
Fourth question. Dear Bhante, I am grateful for your expounding of the Dhamma. Last night's discussion was very practical, but I am trying to understand what I should do next. I meditate most days for half an hour to an hour. I commence with loving kindness. I experience the breath as a wave in my mind, coming and going. Then that disappears and I'm experiencing a relaxed joy, sometimes lights, within brackets, like a bright nimitta for a few seconds, or sometimes a pull into center of a soft all-around light. All of these are accompanied by happiness and elation. More often, I just remain in a calm state where I realize I have little or no defilement. This state could last for half an hour or more. Should I refocus my mind to any bodily feelings to investigate? I seem to like just being there when meditating. I get feelings of elements in my body out of meditation, within brackets, primarily air and heat. Is that adequate, or should I put in more effort to do vipassana during the meditation with method?
Yeah.
End of question.
Yeah, so better introduce more walking actually. So because now you have certain amount of concentration already developed, and you are developing some kind of an attachment to it. Now you are looking that, you are searching that, you are being there, and that's what you kind of appreciating. But they are very much like certain attachment is established. You can refer actually what we call Salleka Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya, where Buddha categorically mentioned, okay, just being in Jhana does not contribute to the cutting off of the defilements, diluting the defilements. So you have to come out of it, you have to emerge from the Jhana and reflect how things are happening, how things are coming and going, how things are rising and passing away. So therefore, don't just indulge in the Jhana, don't just indulge in the concentration. Concentration is necessary, but that has to be make use of to develop wisdom. So walking may be a very interesting practice. So do more walking, because there you might not get blissful. So don't think that you may get blissful while walking. No need to. So allow the body to naturally walk, but again and again when your foot is touching the ground, quickly recognize what is happening there. What are the sensations happening? Are you experiencing hardness? Are you experiencing softness, roughness, smoothness, heaviness, lightness, any vibrations, heat, cold? All these little sensations you need to figure out while you are walking. So in order to do that, you need to have a very sharp, very quick kind of a skill to be developed. It is not that you are walking very slowly. Rather, the body has to walk in a natural pace. And while it is happening, you need to quickly gather the information, quickly recognize what's really going on. Then same practice you can take to the sitting. Say, without getting to the absorption, you can stop maybe. So probably you can practice a little bit of anapanasati if you want, just to build up certain amount of concentration. And by that time, if there are sensations available within the body, keep your attention onto that sensation, maybe a prominent one, and try to investigate what is there, how it is happening, how is it changing, how it is arising. So likewise, so it's a kind of an inquiring thing that is necessary. So once we have a certain amount of mindfulness, once we have a certain amount of concentration, starting this investigation is very, very important, because investigation will help you to develop the wisdom.
Fifth question. Dear Bhante, despite trying for many months, I can only focus for a few minutes at a time, causing me much frustration. 2 days ago, while trying to meditate in my room, I began to experience a profound sense of deep calmness. I could feel this both mentally and physically. I could also feel an almost physical sense of straining to focus on this calmness. I don't remember whether I was aware of my breath during this time. At the same time, I started seeing a blue light around my forehead. The blue light had edges that faded into green and then yellow. The size of the light fluctuated, appearing as if in the distance at one time and then at another time almost engulfing my forehead. I don't know how long this experience lasted or how I come out of it. I don't think it lasted very long. Since then, I have gone back to my default state of not being able to concentrate. Could you please explain what the above phenomenon could be? Does it mean that I have been able to meditate? Please, Bande, don't ask me to raise my hand as I don't want to be identified. End of question.
Anyway, I think the answer is already given in the previous occasion where Anapanasati being developed. So this nimitta is possible. But anyway, as again I have to emphasize, so since certain amount of concentration is now available, introduce certain amount of wisdom as well. Don't just limit yourself only to the concentration. Just this inquiring nature. What are the difference between in-breath and out-breath? Compare with these two. And with compare the previous in-breath, is the present breath same? Or is there any subtle differences? So likewise, introduce this inquiring, investigative quality to the mind, then you are kind of kindling kind of this yoniso manasikara. So yoniso manasikara is sometimes we have to purposely arouse. Otherwise, mind simply stay on the surface. It like to enjoy that surface, enjoyment kind of surface bliss without doing the inquiry, without doing the investigation. So that is something that we have to sometimes purposely arouse. Otherwise, we simply end up with enjoying the meditation, just thinking that this is the end of it.
Sixth question. During sitting meditation, I managed to keep my attention on the nostrils/breath, even when the breath became more and more subtle. After maybe 5 minutes of watching the breath disappear and reappear a few times, I then noticed my hands joining and becoming like one object. It felt like they had become one piece of dough, requiring extra force and stretching to separate. My legs and rest of the body was fine, just my hands weren't able to be separated. I decided to ignore it and focus on breath. I noticed that I can identify sounds of things around me and slight pains in legs, but not be bothered. It was like I had full control about what I wanted to focus on. After 5 minutes, the force on my hands was still not going away, and I decided to stop meditating. This phenomena happened in multiple sessions, increasing my frustration.
Can you repeat that last statement?
After 5 minutes, the force on my hands was still not going away, and I decided to stop meditating. This phenomena happened in multiple sessions, increasing my frustration. Hearing your Dhamma talk on Thursday, I decided to investigate the sensation at my hands. I noticed only my left thumb was identifiable. The rest of both my hands could have belonged to either one. There was no clear separating factor. After about 10 minutes, I noticed a force against my head, which pushed my head slightly back. I could not move my head forward against. The force was against it. I stayed in this state for 5 minutes, then tried to stop meditating, but I felt sort of trapped. I had to really force myself to fight against the force on my head, and also separate my hands and come out of meditation. What am I experiencing? I am not sure I am doing the right thing. What should I focus on? End of question.
It seems like you are getting some too much concentration. May I know who has written it? Would you like to? Yes? Okay. Shall we pass the mic? Now, how long have you engaged with walking? Not long. Just a little, few minutes only.
Like you mean like this retreat?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Fair bit.
yeah.
Because the thing is, we need to balance this. Now, typically, what we are trying to do here is, in a way, we are developing 5 faculties: Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Saddha is why, because of the Saddha, the faith that we are continuing, even though we don't have much tangible results, still we believe, okay, we trust, we are continuing. So Saddha is there. And Viriya. So we have to balance the effort. Now, when breathing happens, say you need to time look at how breathing is changed now. Was it as the way which I have started, or now whether it has become subtle, whether less distractions, or am I feeling more comfortable? So likewise, the present changes has to be properly recognized. Accordingly, you need to do a little adjustment of the effort of the virya. So if you are maintaining same amount of virya, then become more tight like of an experience. So you are strenuously practicing. You are so hard. You are maintaining very hard kind of a attempt. Rather than you now have to let go. You have to become more gentle, more soft, because now the breathing has become more subtle. So likewise, time to time you need to step out and look at the meditation, how it is happening. So if it is happening in a more smooth, relaxed way, again you little bit release yourself, kind of relax yourself and reduce the effort. Then Saddha, Virya, Sati. So mindfulness is also, now at first very much like you purposely have to establish mindfulness, like because otherwise mind get shifted, get distracted. But with time, now probably even if you withdraw your hand, mind might not shift. Mind may remain there. So even the samadhi quality is now somewhat developed, build up with the mind. Now you don't need to push too much. You don't need to, maintain a very sharp attention, but a very soft, gentle attention is enough. So when it is there, now mind can go even deeper levels, because this saddha has to be balanced with panya. Saddha, the faith has to be balanced with the wisdom, and then the virya, effort, has to be balanced with the samadhi, the concentration. If we are not properly balancing, then certain complications can happen. So you might feel more tightened, you might feel lethargic, you might feel drowsy. So different possibilities are there. So when things are properly balanced, then you may have a very smooth development. So these are the things actually we are practically learning. It's very much like we are learning how to drive. At first we are giving too much energy, too much gas. Sometimes we unnecessarily push the brakes. We don't know how to change the gears. So we are learning, practically we are learning. Same thing here as well. Now, I think for you, do a little bit more walking and try to find out how to allow the body to naturally walk, and how you are like an outsider. Watch each and every, the sensation happening in the foot. Then you will slowly learn the type of art. So how the thing to allow the process to happen without my interaction, without my any interference, and then still without being distracted. Even though you are not paying too much attention, that doesn't mean you are being distracted. No, your mind is also not distracted, and also not too much effort. This kind of little balancing is there. Once you find the balance, then things are happening very smoothly. You don't have to burn too much fuel, because you know how to balance the vehicles. So currently, do you feel that you are stuck with something?
Well, I kept getting to that stage where my hands were connected.
So do you think that sometimes you are being moved in a more awkward kind of movements, kind of twisting your head or something like that?
Yeah, the head didn't happen yesterday.
It happened? Kind of some unwanted or peculiar kind of a movement?
It's kind of like a back and to the side.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because the balancing of the concentration is the issue here. Too much concentration. You are keeping too much effort and trying to keep the mind very rigidly at one thing, one place. That can cause the issue. If so, you need to release the mind, allow it to little wander, doesn't matter. Slowly bring it back. So little bit of reducing the grip, and also doing more walking, and so that you are opening yourself, open up. So not because if we put too much focused attention, very tight focused attention, very rigidly, these kind of complications can happen. So just relax a little, and maybe you are practicing Anapanasati, right? So there also just try to recognize what are the subtle aspects of breathing from the beginning. Say whether your breath has become long or short, or where is it touching, from which nostril is going in, from which one is going out. So little bit of inquiring thing in a more gentle way.
Yeah, I feel like it's when I do that is when the breath starts to become more subtle.
Right.
And then I try to stay with the breath.
Right.
Just go subtle. And then it's when the other phenomena start to happen.
So other phenomena means
like
this one?
Or like
now the other thing is now suppose your one hand is on top of the other one, and are you trying to find out kind of the sensation there?
When that phenomena happened,
right?
I tried to do that. So at the start, I was trying to stay with the breath, but
right?
I was going away from that stuff.
Yeah. Now, if we are trying to find out this, you might not be able to find out whether this is right leg, right hand, or left hand. So those are gone. Those labels are dropped very much. Right. So as your concentration develops, you can't get the labels back. No need actually. No need to get those labels. Mere sensation is there. Just maybe a little heaviness, just a mere heat, just a temperature difference. That's all you can figure. There is no left, right. All that details are gone. No need to have those things. And even any part of the body, if you have any other sensation, that also you can inquire. But you can't find whether is it in the tummy or shoulder. Those names are not necessary. Yeah. Okay, you can try and see.
Second question. Dear Bandi, thank you for your clear and inspiring teachings. My very basic understanding is that I, me, myself is not anyone or anything, but is a force of energy, atoms, elements that propel us from one birth to another. If I am on the right path in my Buddhist thinking, how does karmic forces influence this I/energy? End of question.
Yeah, this is a good question. Actually, we can simply say very much like our habitual tendencies are being influenced by the karma. Suppose you are doing, say, often killing animals, for example. So your habit to kill is being developed, and that mind easily can go for killing something, and the repercussions are also being developed, and it's being gathering the momentum throughout the life, and that habit being even kind of transferred to the next life. So therefore, even though there is no individual I, a solid I, but the momentum, we can say, is gathering, that habit being sort of inculcated, when the next mind moment happens, it may carry the properties of the previous mind moment, something like that. Now, say for example, when you are running, so how you are gathering the momentum to run, right? So when you are coming to the middle, for example, so right now you have very quickness being developed from the previous occasions. say at first you are still, you are not moving, but now you wake up, now you start running, and now slowly the momentum builds up. Now that momentum being transferred to each and every step, each and every moment. So likewise, the karma also we can say, so as we are continuing, even though we theoretically understand there is no me, myself, but when we are killing someone, when we are killing an animal, we have the hatred, we have the wrong avidya, where it is a animal and it is me. Out of hate I am killing it. So even though the surface level understanding was there, there is no I hear you and all that, but due to the time, so you are working with hate, you are working with ignorance, so the necessary conditions to build up karma is available. You have an intention which is based on avidya, is based on the defilements, and you have the capacity to build the karma. So the karma being generated. So you can't generate karma without I, myself. So building karma happens when you have prepared a sense of I. That's why typically we say for the arahants, even though they do a lot of good things, meritorious activities, there is no karma being generated because there is no such ignorance in them. But for us, even though we theoretically know there is no I, still whenever we are acting ignorantly, so the karma being generated.
8th question. Dear Venerable Bhante, I really value your teaching method and try to follow your instructions diligently. Most times, I is not a problem for me to get the silence of the mind. In walking, the silence is very pronounced. In sitting also, the stillness is there if there are no body pains. Even when talking with others, I can hear the stillness if I so wish. Is there any wise advice on this? Thero Sarnai, end of question.
Yeah, that's good. So that's why so while in this kind of silent stillness, we are basically operating. We have to operate, actually we are operating like that. But the issue is ignorantly time to time, we get trapped with the phenomena. So we are all working on emptiness, by the way. But time to time, whatever appearing in this emptiness is more attractive. So we being attracted to that. And now I am absorbed to that. Now I am attached to that. And I am being fooled by that. But the moment we are having fair amount of wisdom, then we are operating mostly with that way. So you are talking, maybe you are eating, maybe you are meditating. Everything happens with the proper perspective. Okay, you know things are happening. You are fully conscious, you are fully aware. And under that awareness, things are coming and going. A sound happened and it disappeared. You are fully aware. A thought happened and it disappeared. You are fully aware. A sight happened and it disappeared. You are fully aware. Something like that. So awareness becomes your natural norm in a way. Awareness is very much like the norm. While being there, many things are happening. Anyway, each and everything coming and going. It's not stable. It does not stay long time. It's subject to change, subject to disappear.
9th question. But actually, this is a suggestion. Dear Bhante, thank you for your brilliant teachings. To absorb every bit of your teaching in the morning from 8 to 9, our minds are pure and free from other activities and fresh. Morning is the best time to listen to your valuable teachings. Evening from 4:30 to 5:30 is most of us are tired and difficult to concentrate. This time is best for the guided meditation. This is just a suggestion for your kind consideration. Thero Sarnai and have a safe trip back home.
Back home. So actually, we are going to have the Dhamma sermon, last Dhamma sermon tomorrow morning. So your request being considered. So today we have the 4th Dhamma sermon as usual at 4:30, and the last Dhamma sermon will be tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Yeah.
අයිතර ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ සිංහල මාධ්‍යයෙන් අපිට ප්‍රශ්න දෙකක් යොමු වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ප්‍රශ්න දෙකම ධර්ම කරුණු පිළිබඳවයි. පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නය ගරුතර ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ අවසරයි. බුද්ධ චරිත විග්‍රහයේදී සිද්ධාත් කුමරු විසින් ආනාපාන සතිය වඩා ප්‍රථම ධානයට පැමිණි බව විස්තර වේ. ආනාපාන සති භාවනාවේ විතක්ක විචාර ප්‍රීති සුඛ ඒකාග්‍රතා සහිත ප්‍රථම ධානයට පැමිණෙන අයුරු කරුණාවෙන් විස්තර කර දෙන්න. පෙරවන් සරණයි.
මම හිතන්නේ ඒක ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් විස්තර කරලා අපි දැන් සිංහලෙන් විස්තර කරමු. දැන් අපි ආනාපාන සතිය වඩාගෙන යනකොට මෙතෙන්දී ඉතින් අර අපිට සම්මතය පැත්තම නම් ඕනේ වැඩිය මේක හොයනවා වෙනුවට නිකන් එතන හිත තියා ගැනීමක් විතරයි කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඒක අපි ඕන්ට වඩා හොයන පැත්ත ඉස්සරහට ගත්තොත් ඉතින් නුවණ පැත්ත වැඩෙනවා. හැබැයි අර සමතේ පැත්ත පොඩ්ඩක් දිරුල වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි අපි නිකන් හුදෙක් මේක මතු පිටින් බැලුවොත් මේක හරි ලස්සන මේ ඉන් බ්‍රෙත් එකක්, මේක හරි ලස්සන අවුට් බ්‍රෙත් එකක්, මේක නිකන් හුදු ආශ්වාසය, මේක හරි ලස්සන ප්‍රශ්වාසය. පොඩි නිකන් මේකට දාන්න වෙනවානේ පොඩි අපි අර මොකද හොද්දක් රස කරන්න දාන්නේ මේ පොඩි දේවල්. අන්න ඒ වගේ මේ සමත භාවනාව කරද්දී පොඩ්ඩක් හිතේ සතුටක් එක්ක එහෙම යන්න ඕනේ ඉතින්. එහෙම යනකොට ඔන්න පොඩ ඉතින් ආනාපාන සතිය තුළ දැන් අපිට පුළුවන් වෙනවා ඔන්න හුස්ම රැලි 10ක් බලා ගන්න, 20ක් බලා ගන්න, 50ක් බලා ගන්න, 100ක් බලා ගන්න. ඔහොම යනකොට ටික එන්න පුළුවන් මේ ආලෝකය. ඒක නිකන් අපි කරන දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. ඒක ඉබේ පහළ වෙන දෙයක්. පුංචි ආලෝකයක් දැන් එන්න පුළුවන්. ආලෝක ගතියක් එන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මුලදී ඕක එච්චර ස්ටේබල් නැහැ. ඔක නෑ එනවා යනවා. පවතින එකක් නෙමෙයි. ඒ නිසා එකපාරට අපි ඕකට ඇට්‍රැක්ට් වෙලා බලන්න ගියොත් ඒකම බාධාවක් වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපිට තියෙන්නේ තවදුරටත් ආනාපානෙත් එක්කම යන්න. ආනාපානෙත් එක්ක යනකොට ඔන්න ටිකක් මීට වඩා ටිකක් ස්ටේබල් එකක් එන්න පුළුවන්. හිතන්න ටිකක් ඊට වඩා ටිකක් ප්‍රභාවත් එකක්, ටිකක් ප්‍රභාෂර එකක්, නැත්තම් ටිකක් හොඳට දීප්තිමත් එකක්, නැත්නම් ටිකක් විශාල එකක් එහෙම එන්නත් පුළුවන්. විශාලම නම් වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඉතින් එහෙම ආවත් එකපාරටම දැන් ඒක දිහා බලන්න යන්න එපා. මට මතකයි ඒ දවස්වල මම බ්‍රහ්මන්ත සානාසිකේ පොත් කියද්දී උන්වහන්සේම කියනවා මේක නිකන් හරියට අර මේ මොකද්ද මේ ඔය සත්තු එහෙම එන්නේ අපි ගාවට ඉස්සන්න මුවෙක් එනවා කියලා. ඉතින් අපි එකපාරට ඌ අල්ලන්න ගියොත් එමු උදුවනවා. ඌ නිකන් කුල ඇටි තාම නේද? ඒ නිසා අපි නිකන් ඌව පොඩ්ඩක් හුරු කරගන්නවා. නිකන් පොඩ්ඩක් කන්න බොන්න දීලා හිමීට ඕනේ අලුව අත ගාලා මේ යාලු කරගන්න. අන්න ඒ වගේ දෙයක් මෙතනක් තියෙනවා. අපි එකපාරටම නිමිත දිහා බලන්න ගියොත් ඒක ටක් ගාලා දුවනවා. ටක් ගාලා යනවා. ඒ නිසා ආපු දෙන් මම ඉන්න ආනාපානෙත් එක්ක. එහෙම ඉන්නකොට දැන් අර නිමිත්ත ඇවිල්ලා අර කලින් කිව්වා වගේ හොඳ එයාත් එක්ක අපිට දුදු ගමනක් යන්න පුළුවන් නම් ධ්‍යාන දක්වා යන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඒක ලස්සන නිකන් අපේ ආනාපානයත් එක්ක නිකන් මර්ජ් වීමක් වේවි. ඒ ඇවිල්ලා මේ එක රේඛාවකට වගේ ඒවි. ඊට පස්සේ ඉතින් හරියට නිකන් දැනෙන්නේ හරියට නිමිත්තෙන් ආශ්වාසය සිද්ධ වෙනවා වගේ. නිමිත්ත තුලට ප්‍රශ්වාසය සිද්ධ වෙනවා වගේ. ඒ තරමට මේක දැන් අලයින් වෙනවා. මේක දැන් එක රේඛාවට වගේ ඒවි. එතකොට ඉතින් ආනාපාන හිමීට අත්හැරලා දාලා නිමිත දිහා බලන්න. ඒ බලනකොට බොහොම සතුටින් බලන්න. බොහොම සැහැල්ලුවෙන් බලන්න. ප්‍රීතියෙන් බලන්න. මේක ඊටාම හොඳයි, මේක ඊටාම සුන්දරයි කියන මූඩ් එකෙන් බලන්න. එතකොට ඉක්මනට ඕක අස්සට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක නිකන් අර බලෙන් යනවා නෙමෙයි. ඒක දිහා බොහොම ප්ලසන්ට් විදිහට හරිම සැහැල්ලුවෙන් ප්‍රණීතව ඒකම බලාගෙන ඉන්නකොට නිකන් අර හිත බොහොම සැහැල්ලු වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒකත් එක්කම ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඩිස්ට්‍රැක්ට් වෙන්න බෑ, නිදා ගන්න බෑ. ඒ වගේ අර බාධා වලින් මිදෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ ඉන්නකොට අපේ හිත මේ තුලට එබීමක්, මෙතන නිකන් පත්වීමක් සිද්ධ වෙවි. ඉතින් එහෙම වුණත් ඒක තුල නිකන් ඒ ආස්වාදයේ විඳින්න. එකපාරට අපි මේ ඉන්නේ මොන ධානයේද අරකද මේකද හොයන්න යන්න එපා. මේකේ තියෙන ධානාංග හොයන්න යන්න එපා. මේක පාටම ගියාම පොඩ්ඩක් මේකේ අපි ඒක ෆැමිලියර් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේකේ අපි පොඩ්ඩක් නිකන් පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක නැවත යන්න ඕනේ. නැවත ගිහිලා ඒක ටිකක් පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕනේ. පුරුදු වුණාට පස්සේ ටිකක් දැන් Tamanට තේරෙනවා දැන් මෙහෙම වෙනවා. පොඩ තමන්ගේ විශ්වාසය ගොඩ නැගෙනවා. මෙතනට යන්න පුළුවන් කියන විශ්වාසය. ඊට පස්සේ දැන් Tamanට එතනට ගියාට පස්සේ ඕනනම් ධානාංග විසල බලන්න පුළුවන්. විතක්කය, ਵਿਚාරය, ප්‍රීතිය, සුඛය, ඒකාග්‍රතාවය සම්බන්ධයෙන් යම්කිසි විමසීමක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ පහම තියෙනවා නම් ඔන්න පළවෙනි එක කියනවා. දෙකක් තුනක් විතරක් තියෙනවා නම් දෙවෙනි එක තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ ධානාංග අනුව අපිට මේකේ කොයි ධානයේද කියලා තීරණය කරන්න පුළුවන්.
දෙවෙනි සහ අද දවසේ අවසාන ප්‍රශ්නය. ගරු ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ ධර්ම කරුණු පිළිබඳව දැන ගැනීමට අවසර. සත්වයේ පුද්ගලයේ වශයෙන් ගන්න අරමුණක් නැත යන අවබෝධය මාර්ගඵල අවබෝධයට හේතු වන බව බොහෝමයක් තැන්වල ධර්මයේ සඳහන් වෙනවා. නමුත් අනිමිත්ත චිත්ත නැත්නම් නිමිති නැති සිත ප්‍රඥා ඉන්ද්‍රිය වැඩි අයට, සද්ධා ඉන්ද්‍රිය වැඩි අයට, සමාධි ඉන්ද්‍රිය වැඩි අයට වැටෙන ආකාරය කියා බෙදා දක්වනවා. ශාන්ති ලක්ෂණම් නිබ්බාන. ඒ අනුව පළවෙනි එක සුන්නත ලක්ෂණය. සත්ව පුද්ගල වශයෙන් ගන්න අරමුණක් නැහැ. දෙක අනිමිත්ත ලක්ෂණය. හැඩමුරුකම් වර්ණාදී කිසිවක් නැහැ. තුන අපනීත ලක්ෂණය. ආසා කරන කිසිම අරමුණක් නැහැ. ඉතින් අපි නානාවිධ මිනිසුන් නිසා ප්‍රඥා ඉන්ද්‍රිය වැඩිද, ශ්‍රද්ධා ඉන්ද්‍රිය වැඩිද, සමාධි ඉන්ද්‍රිය වැඩිද කියා අවබෝධයක් නැහැ. මේ ගැන දැනගැනීමට ක්‍රමයක් ධර්මයේ සඳහන් වෙනවා ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
එහෙම අපි කියන්නේ ලොකුවට එහෙම මම මොන જાතිය කෙනෙක්ද කියලා එහෙම ඉතින් දැනගැනීම කෙසේ වෙතත් ඔතන අපිට දැන් සූත්‍ර දේශනානුව බලන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් ඔකේ පෙන්වන්නේ සද්ධානුසාරී ධම්මානුසාරී කියලා පැති දෙකක්. දැන් ශ්‍රද්ධා ඉන්ද්‍රිය වැඩි තැනැත්තා මුල් යුගයේ එයා යන්නේ සද්ධානුසාරී විදිහට. මොකද එයාට ලොකු ගෞරවයක් විශේෂයෙන්ම අපිට සද්ධාවක් තියෙනවා බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ ගැන. ඒතර ඒකෙන්ම එයා නිකන් තල්ලු කරගෙන යනවා ඉස්සරහට. සද්ධා ඉන්ද්‍රිය බොහොම බලවත්. තවත් කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා ප්‍රඥා ඉන්ද්‍රිය බලවත්. එයා හොඳට මේක හොයා බලන්න. ඒතර ඇත්තද මේ කියන්නේ? මේක කොහොමද කරගන්නේ? ඒතර මේවා නිකන් එයාට අත්දැකලා බලන්න ඕනේ. වෙරිෆයි කරලා බලන්න. විමර්ශාකත් හොඟක් වැඩි. ඒතර ප්‍රඥා ඉන්ද්‍රිය බලවත්. ඒතර එයාත් මේ ඉන්ද්‍රිය ධර්ම දියුණු කරගෙන යන දෙන්නෙක් නෙමෙයි. නිකන් ඔහෙ ඉන්නවා නෙමෙයි. මේවා නිකන් පොතපතින් විතරක් කතා කරනවා නෙමෙයි. වැඩිට බහැපු දෙන්නෙක් මේ කතා කරන්නේ. ඒ දෙන්නම එතකොට මේ ඉන්ද්‍රිය ධර්මයන් දියුණු කරගෙන යනවා. ශ්‍රද්ධාවත් දියුණු කරනවා, වීරිය දියුණු කරනවා, සතිය දියුණු කරනවා, සමාධිය දියුණු කරනවා, ප්‍රඥාව දියුණු කරනවා. හැබැයි තල්ලු කරන නිකන් බලවේගයේ වශයෙන් ගත්තොත් එක්කෙනෙක්ගේ ශ්‍රද්ධාවෙන් අනිත් කෙනාගේ ප්‍රඥාවෙන්. එතකොට මේ ශ්‍රද්ධාවෙන් යන කෙනා ඔන්න සද්ධානුසාරී කියලා කියනවා. ප්‍රඥාවෙන් යන කෙනා ඔන්න ධම්මානුසාරී කියලා කියනවා. ඊට පස්සේ යම් වෙලාවක මේ අපි හිතමු ඉන්ද්‍රිය ධර්මයන් සෑහෙන දුරට බලවත් වෙලා එනකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඊට අදාළ කාර්ය ලස්සන්ට හැම එකක්ම හොඳට ඉෂ්ට කරනකොට ඔන්න සමාලාට මාර්ගඵල පැතිකට යන්න ඉඩ තියෙනවා ඉතින්. මොකද්ද මේක අහන ප්‍රශ්නේ මේ ඒක දැනගන්න. දැන් ඔතන අනිත් පැත්තට ඕකේ නිකන් අර මාර්ගඵල පැත්තේ විස්තර කරන සූත්‍රවලදී විස්තර කරලා තියෙනවා නිකන් මොකක්ද ඒකට කියන්නේ දිට්ඨිපත්ත කියලා එක්කෙනෙක් ඊළඟට සද්ධා විමුක්ත කියලා තව එක්කෙනෙක් දිට්ඨිපත්ත සද්ධා විමුක්ත ඔන්න වගේ නම් ටිකක් තියෙනවා මට දැන් මතක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. වෙන ගන්න වෙනවා. 156. කීටාගිරි සූත්‍රය ඕනම් කියලා බලන්න. කීටාගිරි සූත්‍රයේ ඔක්කොම විස්තර ටික තියෙනවා. ඇත්තටම අපි එක මේ මෑනියුරංග වැඩසටහනක් ඉස්සනෝනේදී කරා දවස් 10ක වැඩසටහනක් මේ කීටාගිරි සූත්‍රයෙන් ඔය සෑහෙන දුරට කතා කළා. ඕකේ පුද්ගලෝ වෙන්නවා. ආර්ය භූමියටපත් වෙන මේ පුද්ගලයෝ ගැන ලොකු විස්තරයක් එනවා මේ සූත්‍රයේ. සත්‍යමේ පුද්ගලා සන්තෝ සංවිජ්ජමානෝ ලෝකස්මින්. මහණෙනි පුද්ගලයන් 7 දෙනෙක් ලෝකෙ තුල විද්‍යමාන වෙනවා. කතමේ සත්ත්‍ය කවුරුද මේ 7 දෙනා? උපතෝ භාග විමුක්තෝ, පඤ්ඤා විමුක්තෝ, කාය සක්ඛි, දිට්ඨිපත්තෝ, සද්ධා විමුක්තෝ, ධම්මානුසාරී, සද්ධානුසාරී. ඒතර පටන් ගන්නෙ සද්ධානුසාරී, ධම්මානුසාරී මේ දෙදෙනාෙන් කවුරු හරි. ඊට පස්සේ ඒගොල්ලෝ දිනු වේගන යනකොට තමයි ඔය කාය සක්ඛි කියලා කියන්නේ මේ සමාධි ඉන්ද්‍රිය බලවත්. ඒතර යා සමාධි ඉන්ද්‍රිය නිසා යාට සමත ධ්‍යාන පැත්තකුත් යාට තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි අනිත් කෙනා ගත්තොත් දිට්ඨිපත්තෝ කියන කෙනා අර මේ ධම්මානුසාරී පුද්ගලයා තමයි දැන් මේ දිනු වෙලා එයා දැන් මාර්ගඵල ප්‍රතිවේදයක් ලැබලා තියෙනවා. එයා සෝවාන් කෙනා වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, සකදාගාමි කෙනා, අනාගාමි කෙනා ඔක්කොටම දීලා තියෙන තනි ළමයි. ඒකට කියලා තියෙන දිට්ඨිපත්තෝ කියලා. ඊළඟට සද්ධා විමුක්තෝ කියලා කියන්නේ අර අනිත් කෙනා. ශ්‍රද්ධාවෙන් යන කෙනා එයාත් දැන් ඔන්න මාර්ගඵල ලැබලා තියෙනවා. එයා සෝවාන්, සකදාගාමි, අනාගාමි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒගොල්ලන්ට නම දීලා තියෙන්නේ සද්ධා විමුක්තෝ කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ රහත් වුණාට පස්සේ තමයි වේරියේෂන් එකක් තියෙන්නේ උපතෝ භාග විමුක්තෝ ඕ නැත්නම් පඤ්ඤා විමුක්තෝ කියලා. උපතෝ භාග විමුක්ත රහතන් වහන්සේ තමයි කියන්නේ සුපිරිම පැලැන්තියේ රහතන් වහන්සේ. ඒ කියන්නේ උන්වහන්සේට ප්‍රඥාවනොත් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම කෙලස් ටික ප්‍රහාණය වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ ඊළඟට සමාධි පැත්තෙත් ධ්‍යාන වේවා, රූප ධ්‍යාන විශේෂයෙන්ම ඒවායේ ඒ කුසලතාවයක් තියෙනවා. පඤ්ඤා විමුක්ත රහතන් වහන්සේට සම්පූර්ණයෙන් ආශ්‍රේෂය කරලා තියෙනවා රහත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. හැබැයි අර මේ උපතෝ භාග විමුක්ත රහතන් වහන්සේට තරම් අර ධානවල ඉන්න ඒ මාස්ටර් කිරීමක් එහෙම හැකියාවක් නැහැ. ඉතින් ඔන්න වගේ වේරියේෂන් එකක් මේකේ තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි මේක අහලා ඉතින් මම දැන් සද්ධානුසාරීද මම ධම්මානුසාරීද ඔහොම කෙනෙක් ලොකුවට එහෙම හිතා යන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. අපිට තියෙන්නේ මේ පාත් එක ඩෙවලොප් කරගෙන යන්න. ඒ නිසා අපිට දැන් මම ඉන්නේ දැන් සද්ධානුසාරීය මම ට්‍රැක් එක පැනලා මම ධම්මානුසාරී වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා එහෙම වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ වත්නම් හිතෙන්නේ. අපිට තියෙන්නේ මේක කරගෙන යන්න මේ පැති දෙකම විවෘතයිනේ. ඒක නේ පැති දෙකක් පෙන්ලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ පැති දෙකම විවෘතයි. අපිට කරගෙන යන්නයි තියෙන්නේ. කරගෙන යමු ඒ නිසා. හරි.
I was requested to let the Zoom users know that tomorrow you already mentioned that tomorrow
yes. Dhamma sermon
8 to 9 and Q&A same time 1 o'clock.
Correct. Yeah. අද අපි හරියටම දෙකට ධර්මදේශනා සාකච්ඡාව අවසන් වෙනවා. කාට හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා අහන්න පුළුවන්. ඔව් යා.
සුනිහස් මේ වද්දර සූත්‍රේ පොඩ්ඩක් සිංහලෙන් කෙටි පැහැදිලි කිරීමක් කරනවා.
හරි. ඒකත් මේකෙන්ම ගමු කතර බේසි. අතල් බය වුණා මැරෙන්න යද්දී මොකද්ද කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන්නේ. ඒක එන්නේ අංගුත්තර නිකායේ චක්ක නිපාතේ පෙන්නනවා න කම්මාරාමෝ හෝති න බස්සාරාමෝ හෝති න නිද්දාරාමෝ හෝති න සංගනිකාරාමෝ හෝති න සංසග්ගාරාමෝ හෝති න පපංචාරාමෝ හෝති. ඔක්කොම හයක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට අපි ඊයේ කතා කරපු හය. එතකොට කම්මාරාමෝ හෝති. අපි අර එක වැඩකට පස්සේ තවත් වැඩක් ටිකක් ඈඳ ගන්න ගතියක් අපේ මනසේ තියෙනවා. අපිට ඕන නිකන් අපිව හැමතිස්සෙම ඔකියුපයි කරලා තියන්න. නිකන් විවේකයෙන් ඉන්න කිසි කැමැත්තක් නැහැ. වැඩවල යොදවලම කොහොම හරි මේක වැඩම ඕනේ ඉතින්. නේද? වැඩ මානසිකත්වයේ තියෙනවා ඉතින්. මොකක් වෙලාවෙ මොකක් හරි නිමග්න කරලා තියෙන ගතිය. එහෙම නැත්නම් විවේකයට පොඩි නැඹුරුවක් අවශ්‍යයි. නැත්නම් ඉතින් අපි always busy තමයි. ඒ නිසා මේ කම්මාරාමෝ කියන එකෙන් අයින් වෙන්න කියන එකයි කියන්නේ. තමන්ගේ ආධ්‍යාත්මික දියුණුවක් වෙනුවෙන් ඒ අවශ්‍ය කරන විවේකය හදා ගැනීම. ඒක එකක්. බස්සාරාමෝ කියන්නේ කතාව. කෙලවරක් නැති කතාව. ඒකටත් ගියාම ඉතින් දන්නේ නැහැ වෙලාව යනවා දන්නේ නැහැ. එක්ක WhatsApp එකේ කතා කරනවා, එක්ක Hotmail එකේ කතා කරනවා, සිංහලෙනුත් කතා කරනවා, ඉංග්‍රීසිනුත් කතා කරනවා. හැම වෙලාවෙත් කතාවම තමයි. ඒක කරන්න ගියත් වැඩේ හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා කතාව අඩු කරන්න. ඥානාරාම සාරණාංශයේ හරි ලස්සන මේකක් තියෙනවා මේ දැන් හිතන්න දැන් කවුරු හරි ඥානාරාම සාරණාංශව හම්බෙන්න යනවා. හම්බෙන්න ගියාම දැන් මෙතන තියෙන පොඩි පෝස්ටර් එකක් ගහලා. පේන දැන් උනාස දිහා බලනවානේ. පෝස්ටර් එකේ තියෙන්නේ කතාව අඩු කරන්න. පෝස්ටර් එකේ තියෙන කතාව අඩු කරන්න කියලා. ඒතර කතා කරන කෙනා දැන් උනාසෙත් කතා කරන අතර මේකක් තියෙනවා. උන්වහන්සේ කියන්නේ මේකක් තියෙනවා ඉතින් කතාව අඩු කරන්න කියලා ඉතින් කියනවා ඒක නිතරම. ඒ නිසා ඕන්ට වඩා කතාව කියන්නේ ඉතින් අපිට බාධාවක්. ඉතින් ඒක තව පැත්තක් වෙනවා. ඊළඟට න බස්සාරාම න නිද්දාරාම. ඒක නිද්දාරාමත. අර නිදා ගන්නම තියෙන කැමැත්ත. ඒ තියෙන ඇබ්බැහිය. කම්මැලි කම. ඉතින් ඒකත් නවත්ත ගන්නවා. ඊළඟට සංගනිකාරාමත. සෝෂලයිසින් කියන්නේ අපි නිකන් පිරිස ඇසුරේ හැමතිස්සෙම කතා කරගෙන පාටි දාගෙන කරටට දාගෙන ඉන්න ගතිය. ඒකත් ඉතින් නවත්ත ගන්න ඕනේ. මොකද නැත්තම් හැමදාම ඔහම අපේ ඉන්න ටීම් එකත් එක්ක ගෲප් එකත් එක්ක හැමදාම පාටි දාම යන්න ගියොත් තමන් ගැන බලා ගන්න, තමන්ගේ විවේකයක් හදා ගන්න, කාය විවේකයක්, චිත්ත විවේකයක් හදා ගන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා එතනදිත් අපි යම් පමණක තමන්ගේ විවේකය හදා ගන්න දක්ෂ වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ පෙන්වන්නේ සංසග්ගාරාමතාවය. ඒ අපිට ඉන්න පුළුවන් කීප දෙනෙක් නැතුවම බැරි. එතනක් තියෙනනේ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. මැරෙන්න යද්දී ඔය කට්ටිය මතක් වුණොත් එහෙම. ඒ නිසා මේවා ලින්ක් කරලා බලන්න ඕනේ දැන් මැරෙනකොට මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා. අපිට ඕන්ට වඩා අපි කට්ටියක් එක්ක එහෙම කටකට ඉඳද්දී වැඩත් ගොඩක් ඉතින් පැටලලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒවත් ඔක්කොම ඔළුවේ තියාගෙන මැරෙන්න වෙන්නේ. ඔය වැඩක් එහෙම මතක් වුණොත් අන්තිම මොහොතේදී මොනවා වෙයිද දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වගේම දැන් අනිත් එක මේ හිතන්න කවුරු හරි තමන් දැඩිව ඇලිච්ච කෙනෙක් මතක් වුණොත් මොනවා වෙයිද දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා අර අපි දැන් භාවනාවකින් විපස්සනාවකින් වෙන්නේ යුතුයකම් ටික කරනවා හැබැයි අතිශය තියුණු දැඩි එහෙම ඇල්මක් තියාගන්න අවස්ථාවක් තියෙන්න බෑ. යුතුයකම් ටික තමන් කරනවා හැබැයි නිකන් දරුවෝ වුණත් දෙමව්පියෝ වුණත් නැත්තම් ස්වාමියා බිරිඳ වුණත් ඒකත් ඉතින් අර යුතුයකමක් කඩේට කරනවා. හැබැයි ඉතින් අතහරින්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. මේක එකක්. මොකක්ද සංසග්ගාරාමතාවය. අන්තිමට එන්නේ ප්‍රපංච පැත්ත. කියන්නේ මනස විශේෂයෙන්ම විපස්සනාවේදී අපි තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ මේ ඕනට වඩා හිතනවා කියන එක ඒ කියන්නේ ප්‍රධානම තියෙන දුර්ලභමක් අපේ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ. හිතනවා වැඩි. හිතනවා වැඩිකම නිසාම ප්‍රශ්නත් වැඩි. හිතනවා වැඩිකම නිසාම හිතේ කේන්ද්‍රීලි වැඩි, දුක් වීම වැඩි, අඬනවා වැඩි, ડિප්‍රෙෂන් එක වැඩි, ඇන්සයිටි වැඩි. ඉතින් ඔක්කොම මේ ප්‍රශ්න වැඩි ඔන්න ප්‍රපංච නිසා. ඒ නිසා ප්‍රපංච නොකිරීම, ප්‍රපංච අඩු කිරීම කියන එක විපස්සනා භාවනාවෙන් ලබාගත යුතු අතිශය වැදගත් අංගයක්. ඉතින් අතරම ප්‍රපංච සහ නිෂ්ප්‍රපංච කියලා මේ ඔය තේමාව යටතේ ධර්මදේශනා මාලාවක් පැවැත්වුවා ඔය ITN එකේ මේ මොකක්ද ඒකට කියන්නේ විපස්සනා පරිකතාවල. ඒකත් ඕනනම් මේ බලන්න. ඊට අමතරව ඒකෙන්ම මේ මුලින්ද මහත්තයලා මුල් වෙලා මේ පොතකුත් මුද්‍රණය කරා ප්‍රපංච සහ නිෂ්ප්‍රපංච කියලා. ඒකත් ඕනනම් හොයාගෙන ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරගෙන බලන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් ඔය සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක අතිශය වැදගත්. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි ප්‍රපංච අඩු කිරීම කියන එක, හිත ටිකක් සංසුන් කරගන්නවා කියන එක, හිත ටිකක් නිශ්ශබ්ද කරගන්නවා කියන එක අතිශයම වැදගත්. ඉතින් ඒක නිකන් අර අපි දැඩි අරමුණක සමතයකින් එල්බ ගැනීම තුළ කරගන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඊට වඩා වැදගත් වෙන්නේ කොහොමද මේ විපස්සනාවකින් ඔක් කරගන්නේ? නේද? නුවණ දියුණු කිරීම හරහා ඔක් කරගන්නේ කොහොමද? එතන තමයි නියම ආර්ට් එක තියෙන්නේ. හොඳයි. තරම් සන්නයි. අන්න තව ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා.
Okay, now you're always saying for Vipassana we have to investigate, right?
Right.
Now my question is, how much do you investigate? Like for instance, if you're having a feeling, certainly what I do is I watch the feeling arising.
Right.
If I get, increase and then it comes down and then it passes away. That's all I observe.
Correct.
That's all I investigate because that's all I'm seeing. Is that it? Or do we have to go beyond that?
Now it depends on where we are like. Now say for example you are just the beginning of this investigation, you are supposed to go deeper. You are supposed to go more detailed. If it is just the beginning of your practice of Vipassana, for example. Say because right now you have certain amount of concentration, certain amount of say mindfulness, and it can only capture only very gross features of the feeling. It can recognize the beginning and some intense area, and then it will disappear. You can't figure out each and every subtle, detail of the feeling. But as you continue this practice, you may get subtle details as well, more details as well. For that you need to try. For that you need to further develop.
You have to experience it now. You can just theoretically watch out.
No. Yeah. Exactly. So that's why it's like sharpening the tool. So as you further and further sharpen again and again, so the tool get more sharpened. Likewise, so this Vipassana knowledge, this skill, also slowly will sharpen. Its resolution will be further improved. So rather than you see a single maybe pleasurable feeling, probably now you might feel, okay, there are 5 feelings working together like. Okay, maybe 10 feelings together like. Now this minute feel is very, very transient. So likewise, different way, your understanding may be growing.
Even in thoughts, thoughts come and go, so we are watching these thoughts.
Correct.
But then, what else are we going to be looking for?
Yeah, when you are watching the thoughts, there are many other areas as well. Say when a thought comes, so why are you introducing your own thoughts? Why are you adding your imaginations? Why are you adding your assumptions? Now, all those are our fabrications, our sankhara, our value additions, unnecessary value additions. So thought merely came just to go, but I am the one fabricating it. I am the one further constructing it, further fabricating it. All that I need to understand. So my value addition, my unnecessary participation, all that is something that slowly I need to understand. All that comes very much in the Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana area.
But in my case, I just watch it come and go.
That's it. No problem. That's it. No problem.
That's all. Now you spoke about the break, but because once you have meditated somewhat, that break becomes subtle and goes. There's no, you don't spend too much time looking at the long break shot.
Yeah. No need. Yeah, that's right. That's why I mean the practice depends on where we are now. Where we are spending our time now. So if for you if you are not adding any new thing from your side, if the thought just came and you are simply watching it and immediately it has gone, nothing to worry. That's it.
So yeah, though we are talking so much about vipassana, it can be quite a mysterious thing when people are talking about vipassana, but it's simply what I'm trying to say is that it's what you are seeing, that's all.
Yeah, we can say so. And the other interesting thing is, as vipassana goes, the amount of work we have to do become less and less. At first, we have to say, okay, we have to develop mindfulness, concentration, investigate more detail. Likewise, we have to do a lot in a way. But with time, that unnecessary, rather than unnecessary, say, too much intervention is reduced. So you are very much like you have taken the back seat, like nothing much to do. You know they are coming and going. You don't need to push them away, right? So likewise, even the thoughts, now you are not adding your own stuff. Now it is simply coming and going. So you have taken the kind of a back seat.
It's seeing things as they really are.
Exactly.
So they are not adding, they are not subtracting. So in my opinion, it's a very simple.
Simple.
It's a very simple thing because you're just watching something going past.
Correct.
And you're not, as you say, you're not poking your finger.
Exactly.
You're just letting it go.
Exactly.
So it's not something out of this world. It is a very simple process.
Exactly. So that's why now you know how cleverly Buddha explained it. Now in the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, for the one who is still practicing, he's not a noble person yet. So Buddha explained 4 methods actually. Olatikam, Sankatam, Parisaupanna. Three methods actually. So you can either look at once you are being agitated, once you are being kind of shifted towards the manapa, amanapa, the happy, unhappy, these kind of states. Okay, that is not the place now you have to be. You need to return back. But in order to return, you need to do a little bit of working with the current state because naturally you are not returning back. Still, we are stuck in it here. The mind still enjoying this, having kind of a delight here. So you need to arouse the wisdom here. Either you look at it as gross, either you look at it in a parisaupanna, in a causal way, either you look at it in a olarika, this gross or sankata, is a constructed thing. So very much like you are seeing it in a proper way, so that mind will slowly let it go. Okay, some work is there to let go, right? But once one become seeker, Buddha didn't say like that. He simply say, okay, just arouse a little bit of shame. That's enough. You be shameful about what has happened, and then the mind will naturally return back.
Yeah, because sometimes some strange thoughts come and
right.
In my goodness, from where is this? I'm totally agitated, but right. You just let it go.
Exactly.
Because it's quite embarrassing sometimes.
Right.
It's not what you're thinking at that current point.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can say, go to the Paticcasamuppada and work that one out. Is that right? Like the feeling, you can go through the steps and are we supposed to do that or not necessary?
That's also depend on you. Now, if you really want to, sharpen the wisdom, so you can do a little bit of investigation, so that you are a little inquiring it, you further developing your wisdom, no harm. But if you simply feel, okay, no point, I just like more resting, having a more restful kind of an attitude, okay, you just allow it to come and go. That's why aniccanupassi, or viraganupassi, nirodhanupassi, but nissarana, many methods are there. Depending on our kind of attitude, probably we can take any of these.
Yeah, thank you, because every time, people ask, oh, yes, you have to be vipassana, but we must know what exactly we are supposed to do.
Correct.
It is very simple. You just watch it. Sometimes you may just, as you're saying, add a little bit here and there to make it clarify.
Correct.
Otherwise, most of the time, let it go.
Correct. It's also a natural letting go. It's not that you purposely pushing away Rather, as the wisdom develops, letting go has to be a natural process. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. That's the question over there also. Okay. Okay.
This is not a question, Bhante, but an experience which other people might find interesting. When I went for my dental checkup, I was seen by a new dentist.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dentist looked at my teeth and said, for your age, your teeth are really good. What's your secret? So I just said mindfulness. and I really do it. Shared with the others.
Right.
And then that one time that I did it very seriously. And then she said, what? And she spoke to me a bit, and immediately before I left the room, she went to the computer and started
searching.
Then I suggested some names as well. So then she thanked me, and then when I went for the next time, she's fully into the practice.
So your teeth has made the whole change. Good.
Thanked me, and I next time just suggested.
So what is the secret with the teeth?
Really are very focused
while brushing the teeth.
Yes.
Right.
Every little bit, I know which little bit has not been brushed.
Right.
So, actually, I learned it from Jhana.
Right.
He said, and from the day he said that, I have been practicing that.
Very good.
What with this? Dentist hadn't seen my teeth before. Yes, especially at my old age.
Right.
So I advise other people to
Good. Mindful brushing. Okay, there's someone out there.
I just had a sort of a question about
right. Yeah.
Before, and just in Vipassana to the need to identify how far should we go in this? And what I'm referring to is 4 foundations of mindfulness, the 5 hindrances, and 5 aggregates of key. Should we identify by looking for these things so we can identify where we are at in terms of why the mind is wandering? Is it wandering because of fear and worry? Is it wandering because of other attachments? So then that way we can identify the actual source.
So the thing is, now why Buddha introduced 5 aggregates, for example? Now we, as we all discuss, so we are very much like identified as an individual, as a person, so and so. So our experience is very much like a personal experience there. But when we are very much like analyzing based on the 5 aggregates, we are able to categorize our experience, divide our experience into these little pieces. Okay, when I am talking, okay, which part is that the physical component belongs to? Okay, maybe the form aggregate. Okay, which part is when I am talking, if I am angry with you, okay, the anger is there. So which part that anger belongs to? When I am talking, certain thoughts are operating. So which part the thoughts are coming in? When I am recognizing, so which part the recognition is coming to? So it is, even though I am telling I talk to you, so that is the interpretation we are using, but internally all these 5 aggregates are quickly operating. These 5 aggregates are helping each other, depending each other, rising, changing, passing away, and all they are 5 continuously changing, continuously operating. So when we analyze that way, then you can't understand, okay, there is no I here. So each and every experience can be divided into these 5 aggregates. So that's why it's a very brilliant way of presentation. So each and every experience, all the experience what we live, we can properly divide into these 5 aggregates. Apart from the 5 aggregates, nothing is there. So when you properly analyze like that, then it is quite easy for one to understand the non-self, understand the impermanence, all that. So it's a very brilliant way of presentation. for us to untangle the whole myth in a way. Otherwise, we are every time referring ourselves as an individual. I am talking to you, so we are always trapped in that conventional way of presentation. So therefore, understanding five aggregates is quite useful, and more than that, properly recognizing, say in a way, say when we are going through a certain experience, analyzing it a little. In Kayanupassana, we are only focusing on only the form aggregate. So at first, you don't have full comprehensive understanding of all. We don't need to even. It's difficult also. But as you are progressing, slowly, you will understand certain areas. Okay, Kayanupassana, we are very much like working on the form aggregate. Vedananupassana, we are working on the feeling aggregate. Chittanupassana, maybe the formations aggregate, sankhara, even the consciousness aggregate. And then the Dhammanupassana, we are revisiting all the five aggregates. So the four foundations of mindfulness is a very practical method to analyze the five aggregates in a more practical way.
Yeah. I would like simplifying it in a way.
Sorry?
I would like simplifying it in a way by looking at the four foundations first.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's right. So when you start working with the four foundations of mindfulness, then even unknowingly what we are doing is the investigation of the five aggregates. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah.
It's just that I've done Jhana and meditated 30.
Right.
I'm 50 years old now.
Right.
But yeah, so having practiced Jhana so many years on Vipassana and putting it all together.
Right.
I'm finding that I'm getting into storylines very quickly. Lots of detail.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to simplify and bring it back to basics.
Exactly.
And struggling a bit to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. Actually, I wrote a question which is going to come tomorrow, so I don't want to reach out. But I'm just wondering why doing these sort of things now. Is it sloth and thought? Is it other concerns in my mind? Why am I analyzing without keeping it simple? Some form of restlessness.
What did you mean? What did you mean by keeping things simple?
Just watching the breath, getting into the absorption, whether I have an object or not, and just noticing what comes up. Instead, I find myself looking for things like what is in the five aggregates. Those sensations are looking by eyes that are perceptions that are all, and tend to label as well.
No need to label, by the way. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, now say for example, when you are looking at the body, probably you are working with the form aggregate as well as probably sometimes we may be working with the sensations which might come in the feeling aggregate. So we don't need to really have a clear-cut margin and saying, okay, this is form, this is feeling. That is not that really matters. But what really matters is to investigate how they are impermanent in a way. Whatever bodily phenomena, they have the nature to arise and they have the nature to pass away. So for our easy understanding, this classification is introduced. But I mean, either you work with body, feelings, perceptions, everything is encouraged. So we are still on the four foundations of mindfulness and basically the five aggregates. So having proper demarcations is for kind of a understanding, just to communicate with another way. But the investigation help us to, doesn't matter in any aggregate, investigation help us to develop wisdom. Labeling is not really matters actually. Whether you practice Kayanupassana and saying, okay, I am strictly practicing Kayanupassana, and you develop Vedananupassana and saying, I am practicing Vedananupassana, it's not the term, is not the point. But if you are practicing really, then the understanding may have to grow. The mind may have to start letting go things naturally. The result, you can see the result in a way if you are practicing properly. Yeah. Last question.
This is my third Vipassana Sinhalese retreat. And what I noticed is during the retreat part, very much into what's being taught.
Sorry?
Whatever the retreat is being taught, I'm into it during the retreat. But
Correct. Right.
In a day or two, I drop it.
Right.
I go back to my samatha practice.
Samatha practice. Mm-hmm.
So what I noticed today is the vipassana was working really well. I got very tense feeling here and here. And that sort of had some happiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Then it dropped and then it became mundane.
Uh-huh.
And I got very bored. So I'm just trying to see when I go back home, I want to keep the vipassana practice. I want to understand how I can overcome my personality, which wants excitement.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you encounter naturally these different bodily sensations, that's a good opening for vipassana. So if you coming to that, so keep investigating them. So you are keeping your attention to one sensation and investigating that. Keeping your attention to another sensation, investigating that. Because at first it's a kind of a training of the mind. Because typically mind is not into it. Mind simply like to enjoy rather than doing the investigation. Right? So mere enjoyment does not lead the wisdom. So that's what mentioned. You can refer what you call this Salleka Sutta, for example. So just being in a samadhi does not contribute to the wisdom. So that's why Buddha encourage you need to work in a way. At first it's a kind of a working. So it's a volitional investigation is there at first. And when we are doing that, then it becomes a kind of a natural habit of the mind. So whenever phenomena appear, it will naturally inquire it. Whenever another phenomena appear, it will naturally inquire. Now it is not that you purposely doing it. Now the mind has learned that experience. Mind has learned that that investigative quality. It is inherent like that. And then you may come to another level through vipassana. Now you have developed certain amount of wisdom. And as a result of that, now you are able to let go of the whole thing and kind of resting. That is not a samatha result, but a vipassana result. There you are supposed to not to do anything, just be. So we'll discuss that in the Dhamma sermon.
The ego doesn't like that.
Sorry?
The ego doesn't like that. There's no enjoyment.
Exactly. So it's going against the kind of ego where you already did the investigation. It's kind of a purposeful investigation. As a result of that, certain amount of wisdom being developed, it has let go of the whole thing. Now you have nothing to do. Just be.
Patience.
Patience, exactly. Patience. Yeah, Thero. Okay, then we have spent almost 1.5 hours. Thank you very much for attentive participation. And we'll have the Dhamma sermon as usual at 4:30 p.m. Thero.